Guys, it's Sam, also known as Kadarius Tony Lover. Today we are going to look at some of the college football week 1 lines. Yes, college football just kicked off today, and Florida State off to a very predictable upset loss. They lost a ton last year. I'm not going to dig at them. They lost a ton, and Georgia Tech's a solid team. But we're going to look into next week up ahead, starting on Thursday, going through, I believe, the following Labor Day Monday. So, yeah, there's a lot of games to be played. And first of all, we're going to look over here. We got North Carolina at Minnesota right here. You can see that clicker. Tickets as low as $26. The line is Minnesota minus 2.5. Here's the thing. It's at Minnesota, but they didn't have a quarterback. I mean, people think North Carolina lost Drake May, which is true, but Minnesota didn't have a quarterback either. I think this is a real toss-up. I mean, maybe the two. I feel like the 2.5 has just got to be like a home, home field, cover. But it's gonna be real tight. I mean, I lean North Carolina, but it's a close one. But then we go to down. Okay, these are all kind of meh. These are all kind of meh. We got TCU and Stanford. I mean, if you're going to make a bet here, bet on TCU. I know it's at Stanford. It might be a good environment for them, but yeah, -9. I mean, I could totally see this being like a 28-10 game, TCU. I mean, Stanford has just sucked recently, but it's hard to tell. It's a new year. It's going to be an interesting one. But if you're going to make a bet on that, bet TCU. Clemson, Georgia. Yeah, I mean, Clemson's. I lean Georgia here. I lean Georgia 13.5 because it's at home. If this was at Clemson, I legitimately think Clemson has a shot at winning because Clemson, if you actually look at their home record, is phenomenal. But on the road, they struggle. So I lean Georgia, but it's a tough one. This one, West Virginia, Penn State, that's the big one. All right? I'm telling you right now, Penn State, they have massive expectations this year. They have a returning QB that was highly recruited in Drew Aller. But no, Green on West Virginia is coming back. He is a dual threat quarterback, which also means, he has some issues throwing the ball. But, I mean, this is a huge game. $244 in Morgantown. Penn State minus 8.5. No way. Give me West Virginia on the spread and give me West Virginia money line, which is at plus 270 right now. That's a steal. West Virginia, I think, wins this game and at the very least covers and makes it like a field goal game. This is going to be tight. It was very tight last year as well, and West Virginia, I honestly think, is the better team. Not necessarily the better team, but like they played better. I honestly think West Virginia is, well, I honestly think West Virginia improved more throughout the offseason and throughout the last year than Penn State did. Penn State kind of fluttered at the end. They beat tragic teams at the beginning of the year and then, lost the big ones down the stretch where Michigan literally ran it for like 30 plays in a row. So, yeah, give me West Virginia on that one. That is a hilarious one. That is going to be a wild, wild game. Going on down here, Miami at Florida. Florida is not favored here. They do not lose in Gainesville very often, and I'm going to be honest, it doesn't even matter if the other team is better than them. Utah last year, or I believe it was a few years ago, with Cam Rising played, or a couple years ago, played at Florida for their first game, and Florida won. And Utah was the better team, no question about it. But when you play down in a hot, muggy environment like that with rowdy-ass fans, well, when you play in a... Do not get me wrong. Miami is a good team. They have a good quarterback, a very good quarterback coming in Cam Ward. But I just don't think they can get it done. I don't think they can. You have to be very good to beat Florida at Florida. And Miami's culture does not seem great. I give me Florida, dude. That's That's gotta be. I feel like Florida money on that one is good. I mean, might as well bet money when the spread's -2.5. But I mean, you can bet on the spread if you want. I mean, that's not a bad idea. Nebraska at UTEP. Is this finally the year that Nebraska breaks through and gets to bowl eligibility? Well, honestly, if it's not, I mean, I honestly think Rule should go. I mean, you gotta fire the AD at that point, maybe. But Nebraska last year I thought would get to a bowl game. I thought Nebraska the year before that would get to a bowl game. Honestly, Nebraska has such an easy schedule year after year after year, and this year is absolutely no different. And this year they have more transfers coming in. They have better recruits. They have the best quarterback in the freaking class starting. I mean, I don't know how they don't get a bowl this year. I mean, it's not even like they shouldn't even be setting their sights for a bowl. They should be setting their sights to win the freaking Big Ten West. I mean, that team is way too good to, simply be challenging for bowl eligibility. So, I mean, I honestly would have them -27.5. I mean, the culture's, and I was wrong the last couple years about Nebraska, but what I was right on was them losing the close games and winning the ones that they're supposed to win. Like the ones where it's like Nebraska -3, they lose. The ones where it's Nebraska -10 or above, they just blow them out. So, yeah, give me Nebraska -27.5. They probably win 49-3, and it'll be a blowout. Guys in the second half will be rested. There's no way. The thing is, UTEP does not have a chance in this game. So Nebraska's going to want to make a statement on their opening day, no question about it. They're gonna win this one easily. Let's look at these other games. Okay, Boise State at Georgia Southern. Now that's an interesting one. I mean, I would legit put Georgia Southern on the backdoor cover here, since it's at Georgia Southern. The Sun Belt teams are always tough. Boise's very good, but honestly, Sun Belt teams are tough, especially in a week 1 game like this. Let's keep going. Western Kentucky at Alabama. That's boring. I mean, I might not even bet on that. Notre Dame at Texas A&M. I really don't know who's going to win that one. Texas A&M -2.5. Notre Dame. I almost put that in even. Michigan, Fresno State. I like Fresno State to cover. I think Michigan wins, but I think it's a tight game. Fresno State rebounded last year. Last year was somewhat of a down year for Fresno State because a lot of their best players left and Jake Haener to the NFL. But they got better down the stretch, Fresno State did. And, they're going to bring back a pretty decent team this year. And obviously Michigan is in the complete opposite situation. Not only did they lose a bunch of players, but they also lost their coaches, more importantly. And quite frankly, I think, Harbaugh really, made them a different team, like a better team than, when interim head coaches were there. And, not just that, their defensive coordinator left. They had a bunch of guys leave. So I would anticipate Michigan, it's fairly close, I would say, in this one. -21.5 is too big for me. So I would definitely put Fresno State there to cover. But we'll see. I mean, they are a defending national champion, but still definitely I'm confident Fresno State can cover that. Let's look. Any others here? No, nothing I really know. New Mexico at Arizona. I mean, New Mexico's looking good right now. I mean, I'd consider it, but Arizona's gonna be tough. Wyoming at Arizona State. I don't know. Okay, these last two. So Florida State, first of all, I'll go on this. Boston College at Florida State. Florida State -17.5. I mean, I almost want to just plug my nose and take the under here because that offense is not going to be able to do much. I don't think either offense will. Both offenses are bad. So I would just plug my nose, take the under on that one. USC LSU. Okay, USC is legit good. They have got USC is legit good. Miller Moss broke a record in their bowl game against Louisville. Miller Moss is going to be their starting QB, and this is going to be a tough one. he's going to be tested and thrown to the Sharks with LSU, who lost Jaden Daniels. So, that is actually going to be a major loss for them. I don't know who they have starting at QB. But I legitimately am not even sure. Like, I mean, Caleb Williams was a phenomenal player, but sometimes, teams succeed around different guys for different reasons. Obviously, the USC team lacked defense when Caleb Williams was there, but Louisville is like, that defense is legit. I think that was a very impressive win in their bowl game. Even though, maybe Louisville, you could say Louisville didn't want to be there, but I think USC is legitimately going to surprise some people this year in the Big Ten. Out of all the teams, USC might be the biggest surprise, of the new teams coming into the Big Ten. And this game is being played in Las Vegas. So that stadium is going to be full of USC fans. Like, that's just a short, 3.5, 4-hour drive from, LA. And that stadium's going to be full of USC fans. It's going to be a big Sunday night game. I got USC here. LSU minus 4.5. I think USC wins outright. So I bet USC on plus 4.5, or just outright win, quite frankly. But yeah, fun slate of games. Already saw Florida State take that L today. Looking in at SMU live right now, I believe, or is about to become live. Montana State and New Mexico is live, but yeah, I want to see that freaking Hawaii Delaware State game later tonight. But yeah, anyway, what a freaking week one of college football. I'm so excited to get back making money betting on these games. I need a little bit more income as of late, so. Obviously, I don't put all my eggs in one basket. I recommend, spreading all these eggs out. I'll get into some player props later on as well. But, especially for those of you that do prize picks out in LA or, California or other states that, have outlaw, gambling regulations. But yeah, spread out your bets, because obviously there's a lot of noise that can happen, right? Like, there's upsets. People wouldn't expect Clemson to beat Georgia, but it can happen. Like, there's a lot of chance involved in these. But I think if you know the trends and know the teams well, and historical performances as well, like, for example, just Clemson just not losing at home, you'll be able to make some money in the long run. But yeah, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you want to hear more. This is Sam, also known as Kadarius Toney Lover, signing off. And yeah. Peace.